Awesome. What we're going to do right now is we're going to go live on Facebook in just a second. Connecting to Georgia Christian Business Network, Facebook Live, streaming now. We're so excited to have you on the GCBN platform once again. Dr. Tanae. It's wonderful. We're going to just put this here.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Thank you for joining us. We do apologize that we had some technical difficulties initially, but we're okay. It's going to be all the better because this is going to be very informative. We're going to share some great information that's going to help you to propel forward personally and professionally. So once again, we want to welcome to the GCBN platform, Dr. Tanae Acolaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love that you are a member, a friend of Georgia Christian Business Network for some time now. I'm not sure if I can recall how long you've been connected. We've been in business 10 years this year.
It's been about 10 years.
10 years.
Yes, it has.
I am so excited. Thank you for those that have joined us via Zoom and those that are connecting with us on GCBN Facebook Live account. This is going to be a great session today because Dr. Tanae is the online guru. Now, who knows when you're an expert at something and you share your expert knowledge with others and you purpose to do that, that you're going to be challenged in that very thing. Well, that's exactly what happened to us this morning. Dr. Tanae and I experienced just a few technical difficulties, but we thank you for your patience. We're here now and we have some great information to share with you. We thought it'd be good because we all know that COVID-19 has reorchestrated how we do business. But what we believe, for those of you that are not familiar with Georgia Christian Business Network, our vision is to put God back in business. And we're on a mission to help business owners, business professionals, just like yourselves, to be able to do business on a greater level. We believe that the Word of God has everything that we need to be successful in life. The challenge occurs when we don't know how to transfer the thee and thou from the church place on Sunday to the marketplace on Monday. And so what we purpose to do is to bring experts like Dr. Tanae to the GCBN platform to help you to be more effective and productive in your business. And so today, Dr. Tanae, you're going to talk with us about enhancing your experience in the virtual environment and engagement. One of the things that's so difficult and challenging is having that engagement when we're on a virtual platform. So what I'd like to do is to turn it over to you. I want you to introduce yourself, talk about your background initially, and then share with us the awesome things that God has placed on your heart to help us to be able to do business on a greater level in this virtual world that we're in presently.
Thank you so much, Beth. Just thanks so much for inviting me. It has been 10 years since you and I met. I had just resigned from my position online and in the career of accounting. That was my background. And I started a consulting company and then moved on to complete my PhD.
Wow.
And I joined online education, higher education, I think the next year. And I started teaching accounting to undergraduate and graduate students online. And now I hold a leadership position in online education.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. So um, really, what has happened here is, like you always say, that God has a plan and I'm a part of it. I can truly say that today because it has just been such a pleasure just to come in today and share with you the online teaching coach, because it's been 10 years. I started with this organization, and then, coming here today and sharing a new idea within the same time frame, right? It's just
So
so
this
awesome.
isn't new to you. You've been
Yes,
virtual
for a
10 years
while.
for a
Yes.
while now. Oh my. So thank you.
Yes. So I want to introduce everyone today to the online teaching coach. And it was during our downtime, COVID-19, we were shut down. And I was blessed with this idea with the online teaching coach. And my goal is to assist instructors in higher ed with increasing student engagement and retention in the online classroom. So even instructors who are in high school, because everybody has moved virtually, right? Um, this is a good place for you to join. Now, we are facing extraordinary challenges right now with everything shifting online. So I have been working online for almost 10 years now. And so the change didn't really affect me as much. And for you all who had to quickly transition into the virtual environment, I'm sure it was quite overwhelming to do so. Um, so now all of your workshops, conferences, meetings, everything is online, right? Everybody is there. But at the same time, we're all trying to figure out, how best to take what you used to do face-to-face into the virtual environment. In addition to that, you all are using all of these tools, right? Zoom, like what we're doing today, Google Meet, you have WebEx and others, but you're all learning technology and trying to navigate your way in the virtual environment. So if you're a leader, a facilitator, instructor in your organization, this session is going to be for you. And I am going to focus on enhancing engagement in virtual environments, and will share with you 7 tips for running effective virtual workshops. And this is for any group. So right now I'm going to share my screen. And give me 1 second. Get back there. Okay. All right. Is everybody here? Can you see me? Okay.
Yes.
All right. And all right. And can you see the presentation? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's just start from the beginning. All right. So the first section that I want to talk about is this first tip: plan for technology. Wow, this is so on point for today. We had some issues getting started, right? So you have to, in the virtual environment, you have to plan for technology, plan for the unexpected. And example, even yesterday, Zoom had an outage. So everyone was offline for about 5 hours. What did you do in that time? Did you have another plan in order to teach or to reach your participants? So just remember this, that no matter what, technology, anything can happen, okay? And I even remember teaching a class one evening where my students, I was trying to download this PowerPoint presentation and it wouldn't work. So I had students live and I had to email them, like within 10 minutes or so, email them the presentation and have them open it up on their computers. And I had to teach live to a blank screen using the chat to tell them, okay, turn to the next page. So you have to plan for it, you know, every time. But some of the best practices that I want to share with you in planning for technology, before the meeting, you want to share a list of the technology tools that you want your participants to use. You also want to ask them to download and install software in advance. And then have an alternative plan for that outlines how the meeting will go forward, who will participate, and other communication channels. Okay. Right. The next one is to set ground rules. And the worst thing that you can do as a facilitator is to lose control of your workshop. I mean, that is a difficult one. And when that meeting begins, you just want to take a moment and set the ground rules and also the expectations for that session. You want to make video optional, okay? The key here is your content. So for example, right now we are on Zoom or on Facebook Live. Your participants are here, right? You can't see them, correct? But yet they stay on because your content is engaging. So the video is not so important. You want to mute everybody when they come in into your session. And if you have a small group, let's say that 3 to 5 people, it's okay to use a mic. But with a large group, you want to enable the chat function, always. You also want to emphasize that the chat should only be used to discuss topics related to your session. I have been in meetings where the chat is totally different from what the instructor or the presenter is talking about. Okay, so you want to keep that under control and monitor the chat. You also want to provide an agenda, what you plan to cover, and make sure to keep track of the time. All right, we're on now to step number 3. And that's using icebreakers, okay? So icebreakers are awesome. They're a great exercise for you to use when you're trying to get to know your group and to interact, build that sense of community. That's really what it's all about. So one of the icebreakers that I often use is called the 5-finger introduction. And you can alter these prompts to meet your needs. And each finger on the hand represents a question or a prompt. So let's take a look at the example. So what I normally do when my students come in to the first class, I'm asking them, okay, introduce yourself, tell me a little bit about yourself from, a normal setup where you just say, this is where I'm from, this is what I do, this is what I'm interested in. But this just brings another dimension to that. So I present this introduction and I say, okay, on the thumb, what is something you would really love to discuss or learn about today? Introduce yourself. Number 3, someone you look up to. Number 4, someone you love. And number 5, something you need to be a little more or a little less of, okay? And so while your participants are thinking about their answers, you can post yours so that they can see an example of what it should look like. So you could use this as a polling question or in the chat. So you could post each one individually to get participation. All right, we're on to number 4, okay? Using the 10-2 rule. So when you're in a session, the key is to have a conversation. You don't want to lecture everyone. You want to have a conversation. And you want to avoid reading your PowerPoint presentations out loud, and then also limit the content that you have on each one. And just think about how you want to share your information so that you will get your group actively involved. So using this 10-2 rule is simply just doing this. You discuss the topic for 10 minutes, and then 2 minutes you take to do a check-in. Get your participants to buy in. Don't assume that their silence is an agreement. Okay, so.
Dr. Tanae,
Yes.
would you prefer questions at the end, or is it okay?
It's okay. It's okay to ask questions now. Actually, I will enjoy that more.
Okay, because related to that, the 10-2 rule, and you, most often, a lot of meetings, I do this every Tuesday and then some, and most often when people are on Zoom call, they have the opportunity to not show their video. And so it's hard and make it difficult to communicate, but you know that they can see you, but you can't see them. How do you get it to the point where they're comfortable? I know there's times that I've joined meetings and then I choose not to show my video because maybe I've got some stuff going on around me or such, or multitasking, and I just want to hear the content and not able to participate. But how do you encourage participation and even taking it to Facebook Live? Because not only are we connected on Zoom today, but we have had up to 7-8 people that are on Facebook Live. You'll ask that they introduce themselves, and please don't get your feelings hurt. I'm not talking about you, but I'm just wanting to understand how to get more engagement from those people, because I want them to say, these are people that I know. Hi, Beth, I'm here. Or, which I have people like Kimberly Carswell or Angela Ruffin that'll say they're here. And sometimes I can see who's there. I think Jessica's there and Shay Edwards are there and Candace Simmons made a comment. So how do you get more of that?
Okay, so if you're in Zoom, you can use the chat.
Right.
The chat function. And so you just want to monitor the chat. What I have done in the past, I've taught classes strictly using the chat, no video. Okay. And have had a lot of engagement. What you do is you check in after 10 minutes of having a discussion, you check in, and I'll share a little bit about what you can do in another tip of how you can get them engaged. But the key here is your content. You want them to buy into your content, what you're talking about, that it resonates with them. I think a lot of times in the virtual environment, we are concerned that if the video isn't on, then the person is not paying attention. But that's not really true. You don't have to do that. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next few tips.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Are there any other questions before I move on?
There's a comment before you go.
Right.
Pamela Bridgman said, and from Zoom chat, I've already had a question answered, which was, how do I share my screen? Okay. And so she shared that. And you've got some hellos from Facebook Live. From Candace Simmons, and Kimberly Carswell was congratulating GCBN on 10 years of doing business. So thank you guys, and please continue to chat on both lines of communication.
Yes, awesome. Okay, and Beth, I'm glad you brought it up. If you have any questions, please feel free to stop me in the middle of it, because that's what we want to do. We want to keep engaged. That is that's the topic here, right? Keeping engaged. So let's do that.
Awesome.
As I stated, when someone is in your session and they are quiet, don't assume that that's an agreement to what you're saying, okay? So why do you ask this question? Why do you even sit through a movie for 2 to 3 hours? Okay, why do you do that? Because the storyline keeps you engaged, right? And that's the same approach that you want to take when you are hosting a session, okay? You want to keep your participants engaged. All right, let's go to tip number 5. Tip number 5 is the check-in. So participants can lose interest in what you're talking about. Sometimes they're checking on emails, okay? They're on the phone. So how do you keep this from happening in your session? So this check-in, just make sure that everyone is on the same page that you're on. You want to ask questions that require more than a yes or no. So for example, using this the 10-2 rule, if I'm asking my participants individually or as a group, is everyone okay? Does this make sense? Or anything like that, they might come back and say, oh yeah, everything is fine. I understand, everything is good. Yet, if I check in with a polling question that is specific to the topic, or if I'm calling on them individually to answer a question at that 2-minute mark, guess what? They are going to stay focused and they're going to be ready when I ask my next question. So that's how you keep your participants on track and staying focused on the topic.
Awesome.
Okay, now we're moving on to tip number 6. You want to incorporate frequent activities. It is difficult, just to sit through a virtual meeting or a conference for hours on end, right? So it's really necessary for you to incorporate frequent activities that keep your participants engaged and focused on what you're talking about. So some examples that you can use, you can have them watch a video at that 2-minute mark. When you do the check-in, have them watch a video, ask them to share thoughts about that video. You could do some breakout groups. That can happen in Zoom. There is a function for breakout groups. You create a topic, you separate the participants into groups, and have them brainstorm for about 5 minutes or so, and then let them select a leader and have everybody come back into the full group and discuss their findings. So that's one way. You also have surveys. You can create a survey and have them answer that. You can do a debate online. You can have them play games. You can even do a virtual field trip. Take them to a website on a topic of your choice and have them do some research. All of that can happen in your session. So the key here is just to keep them doing different things so that they are able to come back and listen into whatever topic you're talking about, whatever that lecture is. And then they can go back and do something fun and back and forth. And that's the way you keep them focused.
Wow.
Okay. Any questions? I just saw something coming into the chat.
Well, Tyrese Eccles is saying, I have my first ever virtual workshop with 24 clinical laboratory students class tomorrow. I will be discussing managing time, studying, and stress in the online environment. This is super helpful. Thank you.
Awesome. Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Wonderful.
All right. And we're at the last tip. You want to leave time for questions. Okay. So this is all about time management. You want to watch your time as you're going through your presentation. You want to plan for questions. You want to ask questions of your participants. You also want to gather feedback. So create a survey and share the link with them while they're in the session. Okay, these are your opportunities for improvement. You want to ask for any last minute items, anything that you want to share with them, or even some next steps. What do they do next? You want to have time to tell them about that. And then most importantly, your contact information. How do they get in touch with you so you can help them get to the next level? Okay. So in closing, I want to share with you this. Your responsibility as a facilitator or instructor or a leader has not changed. You still have to plan for your sessions ahead of time. You have to design the sessions to encourage active participation. You have to guide your individuals with different personalities and work styles. You have to plan to meet your organization's objectives. The only difference is the tool you're using, which is now any of these things. It could be Zoom, WebEx, any of those. That is the difference. And what you have to do now is to carefully assess the materials that you're using, identify activities and content that may not be a good fit for the virtual environment, okay? And then you want to change them so that they're able to work in the virtual environment. And I want to read this slide. You have to let go of the belief that virtual is never good as face-to-face. And I have taught now for 10 years. Every single time when my students leave my class, they are amazed at what they learned all in the virtual environment, how we build a sense of community. So all of those things can happen. And so in truth, remote teams can be cohesive, thriving powerhouses, and virtual meetings can be productive and engaging. So that's all that I have today. And Beth, once again, I just want to thank you so much for inviting me here today. My quote that I have all the time is learning never ends. Be intentional in your pursuit of knowledge. So you can contact me via email, as you can see here. My website is theonlineteachingcoach.com. And then on Facebook, you can reach me on Online Teaching Coach. So I appreciate it. And
Wow.
Any questions, which I'm looking forward to.
This is so very wonderful. I'm so thankful that you shared. And for those of you that joined us later, please, the information, if you're a member of the GCBN group, that's a free for community for anyone, whether you're a member or not. What we've just walked through, you can revisit that, or if you missed that, you will have an opportunity to be able to review it at your speed, replay, or whatever. But this is also an opportunity right now to ask those questions. Those of you on Facebook Live, I also noted to you, if you have any questions, to please put those out there. Tyrese, related to your virtual workshop, 24 clinical laboratory students, a class on tomorrow, is there any opportunity, and I do have some coming in on Facebook Live, and so I'll ask those in just a second, but I want to give you an opportunity because you put that out there.
I definitely have a question.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Do you think 24 students is considered a large group? And I'm so used to in-person instruction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend that I use the chat box to communicate when I ask probing questions throughout? Or is there any instances where I say, okay, you can unmute yourself, let's discuss this?
No.
Okay.
You want to use the chat. With 24 students, you want to use the chat. Ask questions, have them follow that 10-2 rule, talk for 10 minutes, and then in the 2 minutes, ask them for clarification if they have any questions, or do a poll. Are you going to use Zoom to do this?
I am using Blackboard Collaborate, which I'm not familiar with, but the instructor and I did a test last week with it, and it does have a poll. It appears to have a whiteboard as well, but I definitely want to use the poll. And I have a few activities as well. The session is scheduled for 2 hours. It's a lot of information. It's time management, stress management, studying, and then talking about the online, being successful online. So it's a lot to cover in 2 hours. I would like to not use the whole 2 hours, but I have the time, so yeah.
So
this is really helpful.
So what you want to do is take 10 minutes, talk about one topic, check in on that 2-minute point, do a poll. Every 10 minutes, do a poll. Check in with a question, making sure that everybody is on a track. Under no circumstances should you use the mic. Always, use the chat. Yeah, use the chat, or you could lose control of your session. Okay, you definitely could.
Got it.
And Zoom also has the opportunity to do the poll.
Yes.
You can do a poll through Zoom as well. So just know that. Now, Zoom is my preference, but that may be just because that's where I started. But I'm forced, I'm hostile user, if you will, because on some of the others, because if I can utilize my Zoom opportunity, I'm like, let me volunteer so that I can use Zoom. Yet from talking and listening today, the opportunity is to learn and be versatile and flexible to be able to use any. Candace on Facebook had a question, but she said, oh, it's answered already. Okay, but their question was, I'm homeschooling kids today and it's my birthday. So I had a few distractions doing your presentation, but I'd love to come back and listen again if it was recorded. So let me just repeat. Yes, I did say that you can at your pace be able to revisit, but you need to be a member of the Georgia Christian Business Network Facebook group. If you're already a member there, it's already recording live in that on that platform. So feel free to go back in and listen. Other than that, I am recording, and we have a GCBN YouTube channel, and my virtual assistant, Lisa Muth, will have that uploaded probably be towards the end of the week. So you'd be able to watch if you're not on Facebook. And have privy to that group, joining that group. Tanae, this is awesome. This is just really, really good. I'm excited. I believe we need to do a part 2. What do you think about that? To allow people to utilize some of the—
if you have some specific questions, like what Tyrese was talking about, if you have some specific questions in that area, it would be wonderful to share, how you can actually manage your classroom. If you notice behind me, I have a virtual background. That's something that you can use, okay? You can add a virtual background to your Zoom account. And so that way, if anything is going on around you, no one can see that, right?
That's right.
So there are just some quick tips that you can, that you could use to make this process just much easier and more efficient for you. So, I'm really excited. I really, really appreciate it. And we will, Tyrese.
For definite, Tyrese. We'll keep you in prayer. Dr. Tanae, thank you so much for your support to GCBN. I have just a few announcements that I need to make regarding Georgia Christian Business Net Week. I'm calling this Power Week for GCBN. You just kicked off our first of 3 powerful events that we're so excited about today. Honestly, I believe that if these 3 opportunities, if you're able to check in as a woman, you can check into all 3. Men are not invited to our virtual pampering night tonight, ladies' night in, if you will. Instead of ladies' night out, it's ladies' night in. And so we're going to have a virtual pampering party tonight, and it's going to be a party. I mean, I'm working with Lisa Muth. In this role, she's not virtual assistant. Tonight, she's an awesome entrepreneur, and she's the director, and her business is Wacky Nail Club, and she has the real nail polish tips, and I'm waiting. I was going to do them today, but I thought, well, why am I doing that? I'll just do it tonight at the party. And then in addition to that, Vanessa Griffin, our Mary Kay consultant, both are GCBN members sponsored. Lisa's a sponsor. Vanessa is a member of Georgia Christian Business Network. So we want to help them, but in turn help women to learn how to relax and enjoy and have some fun. And so that's at 8 o'clock tonight. On Friday, our 3rd opportunity of the week is Ursel Charles, who is the VP of Global Learning for Dale Carnegie, is going to be on a GCBN platform Our topic is reset with all kinds of exclamation points, the 2020 virtual seminar. I want to invite each of you to please register. Ursel is outstanding. Tweet me now, or so tweet, chat with me now. Tell me if you've experienced Ursel Charles before, either on Facebook Live or even Zoom chat. Have you had an opportunity to be a part of one of his meetings? And he is a high profile speaker. Of course, we've been privileged, if you will, to have him on the GCBN platform. Tyree said, yes, she's experienced him. And he's been keynote speakers for us. So we wanted to take advantage of having him on our platform right now, because so many people are still stuck and still trying to work it out. So we thought this week would be dedicated to positioning everyone for the final quarter of 2020. It's not how you begin, it's how you end. And we believe that 2020 doesn't have to be all doom and gloom. COVID is in control of nothing. God is sovereign. He still sits high and he looks low, and he's perfecting everything that would concern us. And so we're invited again, Ursel Charles, VP Global Learning for Dale Carnegie, to be on the platform to help us reset. At that meeting, we also have another opportunity to hear about a project management tool to help you be able to be more effective and productive. Working from home, you know, from the top up, we look real good, but sometimes we got clutter and stuff going on all around us, okay? And so we need to have a project management. There's interruptions. One of our participants, I think it was Candace, said, that she's homeschooling, birthday, whole bunch of stuff going on. Well, project management tool that we're going to share, and then again, Lisa, as a virtual assistant role, will show how she's able to be my VA effectively and productively, run her business, run her home, homeschool, all this other stuff. It's because of this tool that we're going to introduce to some and help others to be even more effective if you already know about it. In addition to that, I'm going to bring just an open-end message about God related to reset, what he says. Okay, so we've got some comments here. Kimberly says your background is very nice. I need to, I've used that before and it works really good, but I like to have my GCBN banner up there. And so the green screen has to be set up and all that, and I'm lazy. So it's just easier to just come to my dining room and stick it up there. Okay, but yeah, I do like your background. In addition to that, oh, Jessica is saying Ursel Charles is a dynamic speaker. Excited to hear him. So that is wonderful. Thank you guys for your comments. Okay, thanks again. Yes, this is great. And I love a part two. I'm really concerned about technology glitches and how to prepare for and handle those. Okay, and so I love this. This is wonderful. We had one, Candace, I don't know if you were here earlier on, but it took us about 10 minutes to get started today because you know what? We're a spiritual faith-based organization. What I want to tell you, we're determined to put God back in business. There'll be opportunities that opposition will come against you. But what we find as people of God, people of faith, is that we choose opportunity over opposition. So if you're faced with an opposition as we were today, use it and say, God, where is that opportunity in this? The opportunity has been confirmed through Candace. We used it as an opportunity to teach to that. When it was just Tanae and I, before Jean, who was so patiently a part of, she came in early for the call, so she experienced some of that. We lost someone. And that's okay. That's going to happen. We gained 3 or 4 others, and then lots more on Facebook. People are patient with people. It's something Lisa said in a group chat between her and Vanessa and myself preparing for tonight's virtual Pampering Ian event. She said, it's COVID. opportunity. It is okay. People are more considerate, more understanding that things are going to be challenged. Sometimes it's best to be patient and wait, allow it to work through, and then look what God did. Okay, so God has a plan, as Tanae reminded me.
That's it.
And we are a part of it. So those of you that are on this call, if you'd like to participate in the next 2 opportunities, tonight for the virtual Pampering In for women, and on Friday from 10 to 12 for our first virtual seminar with the dynamic and outstanding Ursel Charles. We ask you to please register as soon as possible. We have some awesome giveaways that we're going to be giving in addition to this powerful content that we'll be sharing, because we learned today from Tanae, Dr. Tanae, that the content is what's going to be the delivery. The content is your delivery. Okay, so thanks again, guys, for joining us. We look forward to your visiting www.gcbnetwork.com for registration information, and look at our involvement opportunities. There are great opportunities for you to get involved. For instance, for the GCBN members to call on Friday, the seminar is free. For members, it's only $20, but non-members, it's only $20, but for members, it's free. We're gonna have opportunities where we put Tanae in a members opportunity where our members will glean one-on-one and have that direct attention from her. So please look at opportunities to either renew your membership or to join up with GCBN, and join us on our Facebook group as well. Tanae, give your final words, my friend. What would you like to do?
I just, want to invite everybody, if you know anyone who is an instructor in higher education or even high school, if they will need some help with building engagement in their online classrooms or have questions or concerns, they can reach out to me. And so I left my email. I think I could just type that in the chat with Coach. You can reach me at coach@theonlineteachingcoach.com.
Right. And I'm sorry, but yeah, we need to highlight your services. If you want a one-to-one, there is service provided by Dr. Tanae that you can get your private coaching consultant, or you can become a part of that group, and there's a service associated with that. So yes, please, let's highlight that. You put it there. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to put it over into Facebook as well. And you're on our Facebook page as well. What I'd like
I am.
is to kind of share any information additionally with the Facebook Live group. We had a lot of participation over there today. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. We're good. You're welcome, Jean. Okay, Tyrese, you're welcome. All of you there.
Thank you.
I saw Bernice out there. Thank you for joining us, Pamela Booker. We appreciate you all for coming in, and we look forward to seeing you at our virtual women's Pampering In tonight, and on Friday for our climax of a Power Times 3, I call it, of our seminar with Ursel. Please share with others, and please show up. My friend Art Druckenmiller said the only thing that's keeping you from success is not showing up. So we want you to be successful, so show up. Dr. Tanae, my hat's off to you. God bless you.
Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, Pamela Booker says she enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us, Pam. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, y'all.